I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll call this Board of County Commissioner meeting to order Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023 at 8:30. Chair will make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. Chair will also make a motion to approve the consent agenda A through F. Second. Motion in a second. Any further discussion? Don't see anything on the consent agenda that really needs explanation. We did the hearings for the assessed value, and then resolution corrections from there. So really nothing. So any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, we will move on to public comment and general discussion. If you have a public comment, we ask you to come to the front, make sure the mic's on and, or they are on, state your name and have 3 minutes or around or whatever.
Glenda Baleo, I need to get back to work, so I'm going to comment first.
Okay.
This is really difficult not knowing your comments on stuff. So I'm going to throw this comment out there and that's where it's going to stand. And unfortunately, since I don't know what you guys are doing, I've heard all of you talk about property rights and liberties and, you know, things that are supposed to be ours. Well, you have this adoption of the 2018 Property Maintenance Code. And if there isn't something that's a huge property right interference, it's this code. This code comes in and tells everybody what to do with their own personal property when it's not hurting anyone around them. You guys need to go through this code and start nixing out a whole bunch of stuff that's interference with personal property rights. And if you don't, and you adopt this code as is, there ain't a one of you that's going to be able to open your mouth without looking like a hypocrite when it comes to personal property rights from this day forward. Gotta go to work, guys. See you later.
Thank you, Linda. Any other public comment? Mr. Haskins?
Dan Haskins, Moffett County. I have a little video here I want to alert you to. This is a comment. Whoops.
To think about.
A comment between AOC and Chip Roy in Congress. I guess I'd start it over maybe.
The last time a person has said in this country that the government does too much for them. When was the last time anyone has heard or seen that?
I'll say it right here. I don't want the government doing most of the things that the government is doing to interfere with the ability of the American people to carry out their lives. When was the last time you had a bureaucrat show up and you said, oh joy, I'm really glad there's a bureaucrat here? When was the last time you were thankful for $32 trillion in debt, $100,000 almost for every man, woman, and child in America? Anybody thankful for $32 trillion in debt? Anybody thankful for a border that's wide open being exploited by cartels while fentanyl comes in and kills our children? Department of Homeland Security that doesn't actually secure the homeland? Everybody thankful for an FBI that went after Scott Smith and labeled him a domestic terrorist for daring to defend his daughter in a school board meeting because she was assaulted in a bathroom? Anybody thankful for the IRS knocking on your door, auditing the poor and the minorities 3 to 5 times more? People thankful for that? Are you thankful for the EPA or the Department of Interior that sent a man to prison because he had some ponds on his ranch in Montana? We have a government that is weaponized against the American people and it's undermining our liberties, and they want more of it. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle want more. More government. They want more taxes. They want more spending. They want more bureaucrats knocking on your door.
Ask you to think about the last time a person.
That pretty well says conservative value. I'm against the adopting of codes that do just that. Take away your rights. Every time they adopt a code, they change the wording or the meaning of a word, and it takes another bite out of the liberties and the freedoms we have. So that's where I stand, and I hope you guys can stand with us.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Dan. Any other public comment? Either one. I think they're all on, I
Oh,
think.
they are,
Yeah.
okay. Tracy Winder. Not sure what I really want to say here, except that rumor has it that we're going to go back into mask mandates, lockdowns. Federal government telling us what we can and cannot do. The last time we did this, it was a real economy crusher. And that's about all it did. I don't think it saved a life. I don't think it did what we were told it was going to do. So in case this happens in the next few months, and it may not, but just in case that it does, I hope that Moffat County and perhaps other counties like Rio Blanco, maybe Garfield, I don't know. Some of the Western Slope counties will say, no, we did this. We've seen this movie and we're not going to do it again. So just be ready. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other further public comment? Talk about anything you would like. Going once. All right. Thank you for the public comment. We'll move into general discussion. Commissioners have anything? I would probably maybe bring up that today is a kind of a big day. Aerospace Roundtable is here and be meeting at Tri-State and Trapper today with the commissioners, so that's always good. And Senator Bennett's here. And so I believe there's some other senators, but for the roundtable is Senator Bennett. So today's a packed full day of those things. So today and tomorrow. Yep. So, okay. No other general discussion. We'll move to agenda item number 1, staff reports, Office of Development Services, which is Candace Miller today. And she has a lot of items here. Bid recommendation and award for the Public Safety Centers RTUs. Present real estate contract for 595 Breeze Street for consideration. Present real estate contract for 539 Barclay Street for consideration. FAA Airport Grant Agreement and Construction Agreement, and Resolution 2023-82 adopt the 2018 Property Maintenance Code.
All right, so we went out to bid to replace 4 of the rooftop units at the Public Safety Center. These were not replaced on the last round. So these are the oldest units. We got 1 bid back. That was from Masterworks. That bid totaling $58,000, and that is to replace all 4 of the units. And sorry, I think we have one other line item that they didn't price, but to replace all 4 units. So I'd like to make the recommendation to accept and approve that bid so that we can move forward and hopefully, fingers crossed, get these things done sooner than later.
Did they anticipate any trouble getting them in or?
No, I think they said they were about roughly around 3 weeks. They were looking at like 2 to 3 week time frame, but thought that they could, they didn't foresee there being any issues of getting them done before we start seeing some weather.
What's your pleasure?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the bid for 58,000 Master Works HVAC installation.
Second?
Motion in a second. Any further discussion? I mean, I think we all agree that we hate when there's only one bid, but sometimes when you live in Northwest Colorado, you get what you get. So,
Yep.
I do appreciate that it's a local business.
yep, me too.
I agree.
They do a lot of work. When something happens, they're usually help
They
the county
do.
quite a bit. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion, or any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Real estate.
All right. What do we have there first? 595. So 595 Breeze Street, we had a previous offer that we countered. That counter expired. So we received a new offer, same buyer, for that same amount that was countered, which expired. So we received an offer of 450 for that property. And this, I believe this has already been reviewed with you guys, this application, Becky, as well.
Right. I think just for clarification for everybody here, we, at the last meeting, we countered this. I can't remember what the original offer was off the top of my head, but we countered it at 450. We were asking 499, I believe, or 475. And so we countered at 450. He got busy, did not meet the deadlines of the contract, come back to match what we countered him in the first place, right?
Right.
So.
Yep. And then for this, do you want to?
Yeah, we'll make a motion here.
Okay, sorry. I'm good.
Right. We need a motion on this, right? Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I would move to accept the contract with Raftopoulos Rentals One LLC in the amount of $450,000 for 595 Breeze Street.
Second.
Motion in a second to accept the offer of $450,000 for 595 Breeze Street to Raftopoulos Rentals. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
So the second one is the first offer on 539 Barclay. This is from buyer, also Raftopoulos Rentals One LLC. List price on that property was $399,900, and we received an offer of $325,000.
Okay.
And that is the first. We have not had any other offers or counters or anything. This was the first offer on the property.
This is for everybody's knowledge. This is the extension office, the old extension office. What is the pleasure of the board? I will make a comment prior to there. I feel like, real estate is still moving forward. And so I think this is a decent offer, but I do feel like we could counter it and not have any repercussions there.
I echo that. Want to take the first offer? Maybe have a workshop on it.
What's the date on here?
Date, like closing date?
Where we have to accept
8/20.
825.
Yep.
Deadline date 8/24.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do that, I don't think.
I can reach out to Dorina and have a conversation with her.
As the next couple of days are crazy with
Yeah.
these things, so I think we should push to make a counter today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just let me know and I'll reach out to Dorina.
Suggestion?
Yeah, I think it's reasonable to be around that 375. I mean, I feel like it's a great property. It's sound, great location.
Mhm.
Multiple uses you could use in that building. And obviously we're looking for the best interest from Moffett County right now, so that's just my thought when I throw something out there, but
And we don't know exactly what the property next to it's gonna end up being, but we know that we're using that as an economic incentive to better that area.
Yep.
Potential retail and housing, so I think there's an opportunity for that. Yeah. Upgraded property.
Chair will make a motion. I'll make a motion to counter the offer of 539 Barclay Street in the amount of 375,000 to is this Topless Rentals?
Yes.
Plus Reynolds one.
Topless Rentals, so. One LLC.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, FFA Airport Grants Agreements and Construction Agreements.
Yeah, so we applied for the grant for the airport runway project. That grant has since been approved both through FAA and CDOT. We now have some next steps of signing that grant agreement. Just a little background. So the available total funding initially of the grant totaled $7,111,111. And the actual we have a award letter to the contractor that came in at $6,628,052.75. So they will award that grant. The grant will not exceed the highest number currently on our contract with the company that we were going to award the work to. It may not exceed that. It will not exceed that, and it may not even meet that. These are their highest numbers based on kind of guesstimating, what they're going to need. So we might see a considerable cut in that cost as well. So what you guys have to sign is the grant agreement, agreeing to the terms of the the grant application that we've already submitted. And then we also have a scope of work, which was the final signature on scope of work for all of the design as well as the construction. And then we also have the, sorry, I gave my copy to Aaron, the construction agreement with United Companies.
Candace, you don't have to go into all the details, but can you give us a brief synopsis of what's going to happen at the
Yep.
airport?
So we are looking at probably an August 24 start time, hopefully about the second weekend of August. They're going to come in and completely pulverize the top layer of the runway. And then they're going to remill that in. They're going to work on all of the edges of that, all of the taxiways. They're also going to redo the lighting. And then obviously all of the striping.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Can we do the grant agreement and scope of work as one? Because that is the scope of work with the Federal Aviation Administration.
No, the scope of work is with Armstrong. So that's a separate doc from the grant agreement. The grant agreement is a digital signature. So once Tony signs that, once everyone approves, Tony will sign it and then it will go to Becky for her signature. And then it automatically, yes.
Individual.
Yep.
So I will start with the three. Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration Airport Improvement Program as presented.
Motion and second. Any further discussion on the grant agreement? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The construction agreement is not part of the scope of work agreement?
No.
No,
It's
'cause
separate.
that's gonna be with Unite. Well,
Yeah,
United.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find, there's a lot of pages.
yeah, the scope of work with Armstrong is kind of outlining all of the design and construction phase as agreed upon. And then with the construction agreement is with United for that, the $6 million, 600, where that was.
So the total amount for Armstrong,
My documents got out of order here.
sorry, I'm looking through.
It's not
Well,
to
I seem
exceed.
to be missing.
No, it's there. I just have to get to the bottom of it.
With-
So with Armstrong, the approval with Armstrong. Do you have a total on theirs? Or do I need to tally this?
No, and that is not, so I seem to be missing a page from mine. Aaron, do you have the? No, I seem to be missing the page that is what their, we have the scope of work, but it's the task order B, that requires the signature.
I have it, but is there,
Yeah, okay, so that one right there, so scroll down. I apologize, that is not my pile for whatever reason. The total engineering from start to finish, I mean, and now we're done with all engineering is the 314,770. Yeah,
all right.
sorry, I was missing that page in my pile.
So Mr. Chair, I would move to approve task order B with Armstrong. Is that all it is Armstrong?
Mhm.
In an amount not to exceed the $314,770.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor to approve the agreement to Armstrong for the amount of $314,770. Aye, motion carries. Last one.
Next one. Mr. Chair, I would move to award to Old Castle Southwest Group, Inc., doing business as United Companies, the paving contract for that portion not to exceed, I just saw it in there too, sorry. $6,628,052.75.
A lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
I'm glad we're getting assistance with it.
We are getting, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great.
We'd be landing on dirt roads if that was-
Yeah.
we're not getting assistance on that. I got a motion? In a second? Majority second. Sorry, my bad. Motion a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Last but not least. Resolution 2023-82 to adopt the property maintenance code for Buff County.
So I did just want to reiterate that by adopting this 2018, this is just the most, and this isn't even the most current, this is just an updated version of the 2000 property maintenance code that we have been working under since roughly 2000 or there shortly after. It's been something that, we've had available to us since then. The 2018 version has been reviewed in multiple planning board meetings. We, on the 8th, after some continued review of the property maintenance code, made the recommendation to adopt the 2018 version. And under Exhibit C, you'll see, so in the past, as these codes were adopted, they made some minor edits. And so we're basically taking from the June of 2013, so it looks like it must have been 13 when we adopted the 2000 property maintenance code. We are moving forward with all of those changes that they made. And added to that, section 305.1 for rubbish and trash. The section was changed to read, all exterior property and premise shall be free from the accumulation of rubbish and junk unless stored in an enclosed container, building, or out of sight from a roadway or adjacent property. As well as there was one small thing for 308.2.2 to add after premises unless stored inside of a garage or enclosed building without first removing the doors. And that was for the storage of refrigerators and freezers, which stated that they could store those things on the property as long as the doors were removed, but they could be out in plain sight. So we have changed that to be stored inside of a garage or enclosed building instead of just removing the doors. And all other, we went ahead and kept all of the other things that had been changed on the previous 2 adoptions or amendments to the original adoption.
With this, are there any exemptions on property, like acreage sizes?
No, there's not. And this is,
Or zoning?
there is nothing like that in this code. But, like I reiterated that this was, this is just updating the most current version, which simply, it added some language that protects both homeowners and invested, people, property owners. Updated some language on civil infraction or misdemeanor. So it provided some updated language to protect both the, enforcer and the property owner. But there is nothing in regard to, this isn't an ordinance. It's just a property code. So.
Right.
The other question I have is, since this was adopted in 2000, and obviously we're sharing a building inspector with the county and the city. So the city is already updated to the 2018.
They have.
So he's working out of 2 sets of books, basically.
Yes.
But the other question that I would have is, since this was adopted in 2000, what issues have we seen because of this? Have we had any
Nothing.
issues, any litigation, anything that has come against a private property owner?
No.
With regards to the property maintenance code?
I've only
with
just recently been able to refer to the property maintenance code with some violations that were brought to my attention. And it's simply just for reference to see if that's something. And the one thing that the property maintenance code does not have is because it is not a resolution, there is no teeth per se. So, it's really just been something that we've referenced, and only as of recently, I've been here for almost a year, and just recently have I started to have to refer to this to identify if somebody is in violation of something on their property.
But we don't have a file on
No.
past history or
No.
past issues with it.
I mean, in essence, this is something that's going to, if a complaint's brought, you're able to go to somebody and say, this is the code that we have, or this is the maintenance code we have. There's really no teeth. Somebody that wants to clean up their lot cleans it up, and if they don't, they don't,
Right.
essentially, right? I mean,
Yeah, and really, I think that more so the property maintenance code is hand in hand with the building code.
mhm.
And so a majority of the property maintenance code is for structural buildings, fire systems, egress, plumbing, lighting fixtures. I mean, that is the majority of this document. This is for when you have large, you know, in reading it, it seems like it's geared a little bit more towards multi-dwelling units, apartment complexes, those things. And it's built in to protect both your tenants, residents, and your inspector, provide that resource for your city or county inspector.
Yeah.
So it is not written as an ordinance. It is simply I mean, it's really geared towards there are just a few subject matters around junk and rubbish, pest control, and then overall like cleanliness, sanitation, you know, sanitary conditions of properties. But they're not specific to acreage or, you know, have anything. And it's all, everything that is in this code falls under one area of violation. You know, it's very simply written. And then with this 2000 update, it really just kind of adds a little bit more protective language for both parties.
So setting criteria for each property to be addressed in the same exact way.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I think that, one, in the discussion, life without rules is chaos. Right? I mean, it's just the way it is. Liberties come with rules. I mean, could you imagine if there was no rules on the highway and you just got to do whatever the flip you wanted, and you just people driving in you? I mean, and some of these issues that we are facing, and that's on the putting on the ballot, obviously is not a for all. But I mean, if I lived next to somebody that had dumping feces and urine out of their camper to the property adjacent to me, because of there's no rules, there's no, you know, we just do what you want. We're all about America and we're going to be free. There's some issues there, right? Because now your liberties affect my issues, right? And so I would reiterate that in my opinion, and I know it's brought up that another set of commissioners can change whatever they want, or, you know, if we don't do something, they could put it to extreme. And my argument is the next set of commissioners could make a rules beyond what our rules are. I mean, if that's our argument, to me, I don't feel like we are trying to tie hands to anybody. We are trying to make Moffat County a desirable place and make neighbors be neighborly without, again, having no teeth to enforce this.
Right.
Just something to say, hey, here's the rules.
Right.
Could you please follow them when cops ain't coming?
And I will add to that we have, because we do share one inspector between city and county, and we do not have a code enforcement department or code enforcement officers. We're only referring back to these things in extreme cases. If complaints come in, you know, this is something that we have to lean on and refer to identify if there's violations. There's not somebody out with this list, you know, this new property maintenance code driving around looking for something.
Right.
But if we have a building that's falling down or somebody who's living in unsanitary conditions, and, you know, we're able to provide some, you know, direction and resources, and, you know, we have a platform to do that from, you know, that's the value of the property maintenance code.
Right. Okay. What is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-82, adopt a 2018 property maintenance code.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of adopting resolution 2023-82 twenty eighteen property maintenance code. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Candace. So now we move to Road and Bridge Department for bid recommendation on pavement striping.
So this year, the Road and Bridge Department advertised to bid for asphalt painting. The bid form stated that there would be 10.3 miles of striping done with the possibility of added miles, dependent on current pricing. This year's low bid quote was from Stripe A Lot, Inc. They're the only bid we got for the amount of $34,957. We recommend the bid be awarded to Stripe A Lot. The request for proposal asked for a bid on 10.3 miles of road. That's our hazardous materials roads, bypass and stuff that we have to keep those painted up. With the possibility of additional miles depending on current prices. The bid of $34,957 leaves $65,043 in the budget for additional miles to be done. With the remaining funding available to us, we would like to paint an addition of 26.9 miles of road with centerline paint only. The additional miles would be done at $1,450 per mile, adding $39,005 to the original cost, bringing the total to $73,962. This will help us bring our maintenance process into an organized 3-year cycle that we can get all of the asphalt painted within a 3-year deal. Moffett County has approximately 100 miles of asphalt road that require paint stripes done. So total expenditures on this would be $26,038 under the budgeted amount of $100,000.
Thank you.
Is this the company that comes every year?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Any questions for Bruce?
Nope.
Nope.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the bid to Stripe A Lot, Inc. The amount of $73,962 for highway painting.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the bid to Stripe A Lot in the amount of $73,962. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Moffett County Sheriff's Office, Casey Hume and Todd Wheeler. Next on the agenda, Fire Restriction Ordinance 2023-0822, first reading.
How awesome that we follow Bruce and Road and Bridge. It's time for a new coat of paint on the wildland fire ordinance. So that was a dad joke. Nobody. Okay. All right. Come on up, Todd or Becky, or
We've all been a part of this, so.
Again, good morning and thank you for allowing time on your agenda. So over the last several years, we've been working on updating numerous documents that my office either has direct oversight in management of or contributing content to. This is one of them. So this updated open fire burning restriction ordinance, it's a mouthful of words, but really there's 3 primary aspects of this that we have updated over time. One of which is taking some of the language and aligning it with language that is used across the wildland fire scope arena, if you will. So many of our stakeholders, specific to defining what a fire is or isn't, specific to the various stages of fire restrictions, stage 1, stage 2. The previous ordinance, there was some areas that were open to interpretation or that were somewhat subjective. So this cleans some of that up, and it makes it easier for everyone to understand where we're at and how things are aligning. Again, at the 30,000 foot level, aligns language across stakeholders or partners. So as we know, Moffat County on the western half or western 2/3 has a significant portion of BLM federal lands. And so in any given wildland fire season, my office and my wildland fire team and my FMO, Sergeant Wheeler, are tasked with engaging with our federal partners. We've worked diligently over many years to form a very cohesive and robust partnership with those partners. Those relationships over time, I would offer up, have saved Moffat County millions of dollars with respect to wildland fire response and suppression. So it aligns some of the language, not specific to dollars, but how we operate. And then the most significant piece of the ordinance, prior to or as it exists currently today, the only way to move in and out of fire restrictions is through an act of this board. So this document provides the authority to either be the board or the sheriff to move in and out of restrictions. And what that really does for us is on a timely basis, be able to move in and out with our partners. As we've talked about before, through the fire season, we meet weekly. There's a call that all of our partners get on across the area, and we talk about fire conditions, weather, fuel moistures, and whether or not it's appropriate to move from a spot of no restrictions to stage 1 or stage 2. Usually it's progressive, right? We start at 1 and continue on. We try to go in together and we try to come out together, which is sometimes a bit cumbersome or clunky if we have a meeting on, say, a Monday and the next commissioner meeting is not scheduled for 2 weeks. Provides an environment where we aren't able to move in or out of restrictions with our partners. And when I say our partners, it's here in Moffat County. Oftentimes, a citizen may not know whether or not they're standing in the city of Craig, whether they're standing in unincorporated Moffat County, whether they happen to be standing or engaging in whatever it's work, recreation, or otherwise on BLM land. So for consistency's sake, moving in and out of restrictions uniformly at the same time makes a lot of sense. So this ordinance would afford the authority of the sheriff to move in and out of restrictions. I offer up with that, that as public servants, the three of you who I'm looking at, those that are public servants that are sitting behind me, those that may be joining us virtually, none of us work in a silo and none of us should. It's the public's work that we're doing. So in this ordinance, it's specific to whether it's Casey Hume as the Moffat County Sheriff or some sheriff in the future, doesn't just get to willy-nilly do whatever they want to do, right? It's through that engagement and cooperation as we talk and work through the fire season, that whether it's a commissioner doesn't wake up one morning and go, oh, the sheriff went into stage 3 fire restrictions. When did that happen? I mean, that's not working. We're not going to do that. That's not part of this. And it's specific in the ordinance. It talks about that through that engagement process that we come in and go out together. And we, as those public servants, work through that, and then also advise and inform the public.
If I may, my comment on this is it's it's going to be easier and less cumbersome in the future if there's a fire. And sometimes a lightning strike can mean a fire when you don't expect it. It can happen with the sheriff doing it with the partners pretty quickly. And I think that makes sense because, as you know, open meetings, you have to post things 24 hours in advance. There's a special procedure for emergency meetings, but all of that takes time. This would save that time.
Perfect. Okay. Yes, sir.
Hey, Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the Moffett County Open Fire and Open Burning Restriction Ordinance 2023-0822.
Second.
And that's first reading. How many, we have to do this ordinance 3 readings?
No, but it has to be posted 30 days in advance, published in the paper, and you can't make a decision until after that 30-day posting. The next meeting has to be hearing. So I think it's the second commissioner meeting in September to make sure that 30-day period can pass.
So we approve it today as the first reading.
Right, and then there's a
then
hearing
be a
and
hearing. Yep.
possible
Okay.
testimony the next time.
Yep, okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. All right. Next on the agenda is County Clerk's office and elections, Stacy Morgan and Sarah Calden, to review and select potential changes to Commissioner district boundaries, redistricting in advance of public hearing on September 26th.
Hi,
Good
good
morning.
morning. So we have a mandated redrawing of the commissioner districts. The 3 county commissioner districts need to be reapportioned to balance the districts based on the new population data. Commissioner districts must have no more than a 5% deviation between the least and the most populous district. And we're currently around 12.77. So we are presenting a new district plan that will follow the statutory requirements for county redistricting. CRS 3010-3061.
So I think if you look at the map, you are on the screen, you could see District 3's Donald, the greens, Donald Melody is the yellow, and I am the peach. Whatever color that is, tan. Don, and even looking at that map's kind of interesting that Donald was the one, the green was short in population by 300 people, right? Or whatever. And you would think by looking at that, that there's no way that that's possible, but that was what it was.
Couldn't count the cows and sheep.
Yeah.
And the public land that has no
Yeah.
residents on it. So you can see that the red lines there are current boundaries on section lines, and the state now has us doing the boundaries based on census blocks. So that's why the boundaries look very irregular, but we were able to carve out some space downtown for Donald to move in and come with it. Was it 4.23%? So we're under our 5%. Yeah. Perfect. Map shows the city.
There you go.
And then we need to approve that plan, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
And then that'll get presented back to the state to change the districting,
Yes, that will go back
the
to
boundary.
We'll have to have a public hearing the 26th of February or of September.
Yes,
Yeah.
it has to be by public hearing.
But this is presenting that map. This is the map we're going to present to the public hearing, right?
That is correct.
Yes. So, Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the suggested BOCC Districts Plan E as presented today to move forward with that process.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks, guys.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right. On to presentations. We have two presentations today. First is Colorado First Conservation District, Casey Green and Steve Hinkemeyer for the Sage Grouse Mitigation Grant Letter of Support. How are we doing today? Good.
Good morning.
Okay, so I know that you have received a copy of our abstract for this grant, but we'll just give a quick overview for those in the audience and maybe watching online. As you know, there is some major power lines coming down through Moffat County for wind energy transport. The first one of those is near completion, if not complete. Is it completed?
They're working.
Okay. So with that, those power lines needed to pay for mitigation to disturbance of sage grouse habitat as they came through. That funding went to a national grant competitive process. And so the Colorado First Conservation District put in for the grant that was set aside for habitat mitigation and pinyon juniper removal to improve sage grouse habitat. The concept behind why we were going after this funding is, first of all, we think that the funding probably should be spent where the habitat is being disturbed along the route of the power line. And then also it's a tedious process. So landowners that might fall within those zones that are having their habitat disturbed or the sage grouse that are going to be affected, it's really difficult for a private landowner if they don't have a grant writer on staff to get that funding. It's been a 6-month process just for us, and we're at the final stages of that process. So hopefully we can get some of that funding on the ground in Moffat County. So our proposal is to set up a Moffat County Greater Sage Grouse Alliance. That alliance would be made up of private landowners, representatives of organizations such as Colorado Parks and Wildlife, Sage Grouse Initiative, Habitat, hopefully commissioners, anybody that has a stakeholders in sage grouse habitat. So, and then that funding, a private landowner could possibly apply to the alliance to receive funding to do habitat work on their property. That would include some state lands. Federal lands are not included just because when we went to the BLM about this, they said that they have quite a bit of their own funding for sage grouse. So they aren't necessarily included. If they wanted to, they absolutely could. But this allows us to do some work on adjacent properties though as well. If you have private property that is adjacent to federal property, that helps those people get some funding back on the ground. So the overall proposal we have put in for $3.34 million. 80% of that would go directly to on-ground work for sage grouse. We do anticipate that we're going to have to hire a project manager, and then the district would receive some funding to manage the grant and the whole process. So we had, Jeff has been a big help with this on the natural resources part. We're just asking for a letter of support that the commissioners are okay with what we're doing because it's going to be a county-wide project. But we do feel it's important to, like I say, get that funding on the ground where it's needed. 70% of Colorado sage grouse live right in Moffat County. So we think it's super important that that's where the funding goes. Do you guys have any questions on the proposal or where we're wanting to be working for the funding?
So you're asking for $3.34 million. What was the total give for them? It was a 20-some million, right?
I thought it was 17 something, Tony, and
Yeah.
it's 12.5 or more $1 million that was going to be put into conservation easements.
I got you. Yeah, I remember that now.
So the 3.34 million is really all.
Yeah, that's just
for-
Gateway South. This is just concerning Gateway South for now.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So we are anticipating that there'll be more funding coming through with the next power line, but that hasn't been released yet at all. If we're successful with this one, we're hoping to expand that with the next power line coming through. But yeah, the 3.34 million is all that was set aside specifically for habitat improvement.
Great. Any other questions?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the letter of support for the Colorado First Conservation District Greater Sage Grouse Alliance Grant.
Oh, motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks,
Thank you for your
guys.
support. We
Appreciate
should,
all
we
your
should
work.
find out in November if we receive that funding or not. So, thank you.
That's fast for you. Grant.
I like to spend money.
Yeah, yes, of course. All right, next, last but not least, we have United Way of Moffett County, Heather Frost, and I'll let her introduce her colleagues today and for a program update of United Way.
Good morning. My name is Heather Frost. I'm the Executive Director of Moffett County United Way. On behalf of all of the local nonprofits that are funded through the county's contribution to the Moffett County Human Resource Council, thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak with you today. Moffett County and the City of Craig partnered with Moffett County United Way beginning in 2001 to form the Moffett County Human Resource Council, also known as HRC. HRC originally began as a way to coordinate city and county funding requests from local nonprofits to ensure fairness and efficiency in funding. Through HRC, the city, the county, and United Way have resolved to work together and create a committee to receive, evaluate, and allocate annual funds from the city and the county to local nonprofits providing human services. Over the 22 years of existence, HRC has strengthened the alliance between local nonprofits. HRC participants meet quarterly to participate in nonprofit training, share information, collaborate, reduce duplication of services, and apply for funding through the annual HRC grant. An HRC grant allocation committee determines funding for HRC applicants every year. It is made up of a city council member, a county commissioner, a United Way board of director, a nonprofit representative, and 3 community members at large. I'd like to give a special thank you to Commissioner Tony Boyer. He's the one who attends our HRC meetings, is on the HRC allocation committee, and is our county representative when needed. So thank you, Tony. In 2023, Moffett County gave $60,000 to HRC. Thank you for that funding and for the support. The 2023 funding from the city and the county combined was used to support 16 different local nonprofits, providing many services, including several different youth programs, emergency assistance for housing, transportation, and food for residents in need, support for local residents with intellectual and developmental disabilities, trauma support for our first responders, parent education classes, medical care coordination, and programs for our Moffett County senior citizens. Your funding from the county has made a positive impact on the lives of many, many Moffett County residents. So thank you for your support. One of the groups that is regularly funded through HRC is Youth United Way, which is a partnership between United Way and the Moffett County High School Key Club. Joining me today are 3 of the amazing Youth United Way student officers who would like to share with you what the funding through the HRC grant means to them.
So good morning. We are the officers of Youth United Way and Key Club, so thank you so much for allowing us to speak to you today. My name is Ruby Short. I'm the co-president.
My name is Megan Neaton. I am also co-president.
My name is Kelly Pubans, and I'm the treasurer.
So each year we raise money by selling holiday wreaths in the community, and in 2023 we raised $4,000. Every year we also apply for an HRC grant, and we were awarded $5,800 in 2023. So we use the money we raise and the HRC funding to support local nonprofits providing services to Moffett County youth and their families. In 2023, we were able to allocate $10,800 to 9 different agencies, including Bear River Young Life, Open Heart Advocates, the Boys and Girls Club, Connections for Kids, Horizons, Northwest Colorado for Independence, the Senior Social Center, and Partners for Youth.
Some of the programs we funded in 2023 included food bags for youth and their families in need, support programs for youth who experience trauma and abuse, fun and safe after-school activities, support for deaf youth and their families, and the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, which mails free books to kids aged 0 to 5. Not only do we fund local agencies supporting youth and their families, but Youth United Way and Key Club provides us with an opportunity to learn about our community, volunteering, nonprofits, grant writing, grant making, and allocations. In 2023, 11 of our members served on the allocations training and served on the Youth United Way Grant Allocations Committee. Our 53 student members volunteered 1,902 hours of community service and led a school and community food drive for the Youth PB&J program, sponsored the Cherish the Little Things art show, and supported the Holiday Drive and Festival of Trees.
So what all of this kind of wraps around to bring together is by working with the Moffat County School District and Youth United Way, as well as the HRC. Our student members have really gained valuable leadership skills as well as community and involvement. And it's been an amazing opportunity to give back to our community. So without the support of you guys and the city of Craig in Moffat County, we would not be able to do any of this. So thank you so much for funding us through the Human Resource Council. Your willingness and your leadership to help us, it has really made a difference in our community as well as our students. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. You know, you guys could ask for pretty much whatever you want from the HRC and you probably get that, knowing that it's going to go back into doing it. It's pretty amazing that you would take money, ask for a grant to only be able to give back the grant. I mean,
absolutely.
Just put that in your hat. If I'm there, Tom will back me up.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Sincerely.
The Human Resource Council submitted an application of requesting $42,000 in 2024. Our local agencies continue to see an increased demand for services in our community compared to years past, and difficulty securing enough funds to meet all of the needs of our local residents. Therefore, we're asking for a 5% increase in funding compared to previous years, from $40,000 to $42,000 in 2024. Thank you for supporting HRC for so many years and for your consideration of funding again in 2024. The Moffat County United Way Board of Directors made a decision this past June to merge with Routt County United Way to become one new organization called the United Way. It doesn't roll off the tongue yet. The United Way of the Yampa Valley, effective September 1st, so next Friday. Joining me today, we're a large group, so we're going to play musical chairs. Also joining me today is the director of the new United Way, Kate Nowak, and the associate director, Jennifer Bruin, who will share more information with you about the merger and their desire to continue HRC in Moffat County.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
What wonderful young philanthropists you have garnered there. How wonderful to hear what they've done. I'm Kate Nowak, and I'm the director for United Way of the Yampa Valley. And this is Jen Bruin, who is the associate director. And we're going to be spending the full day in Craig today. We've got back-to-back appointments with agencies and start out with you all and end up with city council. So we're excited to be here. I wanted to kind of introduce myself. I'm not new to Moffat County. Some of you remember the Energy Summit, not this past June, but like 10, 12, 13, 15 years ago. I used to run the Energy Summit through Yampa Valley Partners. I took Audrey Danner's position from Yampa Valley Partners. We turned it into Yampa Valley Data Partners just to have some clarification. I ran that organization for 5 years here in Moffat, out of Craig, and then eventually went over to United Way, and I've been with United Way for 10 years. So I am just thrilled to be back in Moffat County and be back to serve the people here. And I'm bringing a very strong team with me. We just hired, I tried to talk Heather into staying. Okay, I just want you to know that. I succeeded for like 2 months and then she went on vacation and said, no, I really want to teach science. And we know that's her background. So we wish her all the best. She's done an excellent job this past year. And so we have restructured a little bit. We only need one director for this Yampa Valley. So that will be me, and Jen has been promoted to associate director. And then we'll have a community impact manager here in Moffett. And we have just hired Marco Boha. Gotta remember how to say his name. But he is born and raised in Moffett County and has been involved with HRC and nonprofits. Currently, he's working with Northwest Colorado Health. I don't think they're too happy about us taking him, but you know, it was his choice, and we're delighted to have him. And so he will be full-time servicing Moffett County. And with that, you will have a whole team of people to surround him and help him do good work here. Our theme this year is United We Thrive. We think that that is great for Moffett County as the community is united. We're going to thrive in our community. We also think that that's good for the Valley as united and connecting both of us. We're really excited about some of the opportunities here in Moffett County. I think that there's a lot that can be done in education, financial stability, and health. As you know, that's our focus. We are meeting with Community Budget Center, Interfaith Food Bank, the St. Michael's Community Kitchen, and there's one more that we're meeting with today. All in a row to kind of get a handle on what services are being provided and how we can help support them. So that is great. Wanted to say thank you so much for the HRC funding. That's really important. We had that in Routt County, and so it was awesome that we've had it here. You know, I've worked with Kari Panikvar and Amanda Arnold and Kristen and now Heather, you know, all of the different directors throughout the years here in Moffett County. And we've both all had the HRC funding, and it's so critical for our agencies. It's really important operating funding for them. So thank you for that. I would like to ask if we could have a work session sometime in the near future around the HRC process. It's just a little different than what we're accustomed to, and would like to have some discussion around that, if that would be possible.
Yeah, and I think one of the questions, just for clarification, one of the questions at our last HRC meeting was, and a valid question, I think, with the merge, does HRC money from county and city stay in Moffett County, right?
Yes.
And it does 100%.
Yes, it does.
But that was one of the nonprofits questions at our last HRC meeting, which was valid, I think.
Yeah.
But just so we know, it is staying here. Our money will stay here. Routt County's money will stay.
Yes, that's really important. Really important. And I will also tag on that to say that any donor that designates Moffett County, that funding will stay in Moffett County. And we give that option on all of our workplace giving forms. It will be that way on our website, so that any way anybody gives, they can donor designate. As United Way, we honor all donor designations. It's really important. So I'll get with the people to schedule a work session. And then we have some exciting things going on already. We have a fundraiser coming up. It's the Battle of the Plants, or I want to say Battle of the Power, like the power plants. Tri-State versus Excel Hayden Station. It's a softball challenge. It will be October 7th, 1 o'clock at Loudy Simpson Park. We hope everybody comes out to join us. There will be food trucks, and we'll have some silent auction items. We'll have an online auction as well. We have sponsorships available. So we'd love to have you all come out for that. And I also would like to invite you to our merger celebration. We decided that we were going to have a merger celebration coming up. Would you mind handing those out? This Friday night at the Warehouse Food Hall. And it will be an opportunity to meet all the board members. I will say that we have 5 board members from Moffat County on our current board. So we're thrilled to have that representation. It's very important. I've been a Valley girl for a long, long time, and it's really important to have that representation all throughout. So we're delighted to be here and delighted to serve the people of Moffat County.
That's a habit that'll be.
It is a
Well,
long habit. I'm still answering the phone, you know. United Way of the Yampa Valley. Are there any questions?
I've been in the middle of it.
Yeah, right.
We're in the middle of budget, so we'll be discussing that over the next few weeks and last year we gave 60, knowing that we had a little bit of ARPA money. Normally give 40, we gave 60, and the HRC decided that we didn't give all that 60 away. We held back some for this coming year, trying to even it out. And so we'll be in that discussion, let you guys know.
And that is designated. I'm aware of that. So when that merge happens, we'll have that. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys. Thank
All
you.
right.
All right. Good. All right, we will adjourn this meeting. Next scheduled board county commissioner meetings Tuesday, September 12th, 2023 at 8:30. Thank you.